Inanimate object Pokémon are some of the most popular Pokémon ever. So much so that people just love to talk about them in every single generation. Except Gen 1 for some reason. However, after going through every single Pokémon based on an inanimate object, we found some Pokémon that you probably never would have thought were based on a non-living thing. So I thought it'd be fitting to invite someone whose channel mascot is literally a light.
Oh, I see what you did there. Light, because my mascot's a chandelier. Slow clap, my friend. So, over on my channel, we did a video covering every Pokemon to our knowledge that's based on a non-living thing. But there were some that really stuck out to us and made us say, yo, wait, what? I didn't know that. So, we made a list about them.
If you came from Speqtor's channel, then you might just be able to predict what's going to be on the list. But I hope you enjoy anyway. Here are 10 Pokemon you probably didn't know were influenced or based on inanimate objects.
Number 10. Garchomp. That's right, the extremely popular 4th gen pseudo-legend can technically fit into the category of inanimate object Pokemon, since its design strongly resembles a jet aircraft. Garchomp also isn't the only jet dragon Pokemon, as Latios and Latias are listed to be a combination of a jet plane and a dragon. But we figured Garchomp would be less obvious of a pick than the Latis, and well, just look at the Lati's Megas. They're basically Pokemon Transformers at this point. There are also multiple dex entries on Garchomp commenting on its jet plane-like body and how it flies at sonic speeds. Even in the anime, it looks a bit like an aircraft when flying. So Garchomp definitely isn't the most surprising Pokemon to see on the list, but we are only at number 10. The inanimate object Pokemon are only going to get more surprising as the list goes on.
Number 9. Volcanion. This Kalos legend has a few inanimate object inspirations, these being lion, dog-like statues or gargoyles, which you can definitely see in its design, possibly being inspired by tanks for its cannon-like arms, and its ability to fly with these same cannon-like arms may also draw inspiration from a steam engine. Yep, Volcanion is the closest Pokemon we have to Thomas the Tank Engine. On top of that, the canyon part of Volcanion's name may also be a corruption of the word cannon. So yeah, Volcanion is basically a walking fire, water, lion, machine, transformer. I don't know, still looks cool though.
Number 8. Jirachi. This is a pretty weird one. Firstly, Jirachi's design apparently references the act of wishing upon a star. So Jirachi is based on wishes? Wishes are technically inanimate, right? However, the more interesting part of Jirachi's origins is that the tags on Jirachi are a reference to the paper strips written on Tanabata, also known as the Star Festival. At this Japanese festival, people write wishes on these pieces of paper and usually hang them on bamboo, which is then burned or set afloat after the festival. Jirachi's Pokédex entries also talk about how it grants any wish that's written on the tags attached to its head. So really, Jirachi's design is actually pretty clever. Oh, and it may also be inspired by genies, though I still prefer these three.
Number 7. The Meryl line. Moving on from Pokemon that are influenced by inanimate objects, we have some Pokemon that are straight up based on inanimate objects. When the famous Peekaboo was first revealed, people thought it was another mouse Pokemon just like Pikachu. Well, they were half right. This evolution line is actually half mouse, or rabbit for Azumarill, and the other half being beach ball, or personal flotation device, or maybe a life buoy, but judging by the shape we'll go with beach ball. To add to the water theme, Meryl's body and ears also resemble a water molecule, which, after looking at a water molecule, yeah, that's actually pretty clever. Not gonna lie though, again these Pokemon, apart from being based on an animal, are primarily based on a beach ball. I honestly didn't think that the Pokemon that would be best to take to the seaside, out of all the Pokemon, was Meryl. You could throw it around or, hey, prevent someone else from drowning.
Number 6. Munna and Musharna. At first, these Pokemon probably look like they're based on an animal, for example a Malayan tapir, which they do seem to draw inspiration from. But believe it or not, Munna and Musharna's primary origin is actually on Koro, which is a Japanese incense burner. This would explain the, what looks like pink smoke coming from Musharna's head, as well as explain the floral pattern. Although the floral patterns is most likely because these Pokemon were referenced back in the Gen 1 games, but their incense burner origin also works.
Number 5. Ditto. This is a pretty unexpected one, to me anyway. Most if not all people would assume that Ditto is based on a pink blob, which they'd be kind of right. Ditto is also possibly based on single-cell organisms, which makes sense. But the most interesting origin for Ditto is when Junichi Masuda and Ken Sugimori revealed that Ditto was actually originally based on, well, the iconic smiley face. You know, basically one of these. And honestly, I had no idea, hence why I made the list. Sure, the blood part is pretty obvious, but being based on just a smiley face, I mean, it would probably seem kind of obvious looking at it now.
Number 4. Remoraid and Mantine. 2 for the price of 1. Also, these two are like my 2 favorite water types, just saying. Of all the fish Pokemon, Remoraid has arguably the coolest origin. Apart from being based on an archer fish due to its ability to shoot attacks from its mouth, its design, shape, and shooting abilities makes it very similar to firearms, specifically a revolver, which is pretty badass if you ask me. But you might be wondering why Remoraid is sharing the spot with Mantine. Well, have you ever wondered why there's so much art of Mantine with a Remoraid under its fin? That's because the relationship between Mantine and Remoraid mirrors that of real-life manta rays and remora fish, with remoras attaching to manta rays' fins. However, in a Pokemon sense, and with Remoraid's basis on a gun and Mantine's partial basis on a kite, these two paired together are reminiscent of a fighter plane, which makes them even more badass. Additionally, Remoraid being based on a gun also explains why it evolves into Octillery, which Pokemon Insider has done a video on. So if you're wondering about that, be sure to check out his video after ours.
Number 3. Victini. The letter V is obviously a big part of this Unova legend. V for Victini, V for Victory, V Create, V being the Roman numeral for 5, his head being the shape of a massive V. But did you know that Victini's appearance isn't forcefully made to look like a V shape? It's based not just on a V, but fruit. More specifically, an apple. Even more specifically, a Usagi Ringo, which is a method of cutting apple slices to make them look like rabbits. So yeah, this Pokemon is technically based on fruit, or at least a style of cutting fruit. So if you guys thought that Victini for whatever reason was based on a rabbit, you were kind of right. It was based more on an apple rabbit. I honestly never would have guessed.
Number 2. Meowth. Despite what you may think, Meowth is not based on a cat. You're probably thinking, what? No, yeah, it's definitely a cat. Is this kid high? But no, I'm not, and no, it's not a cat. Meowth is based on a Maneki Nico, which is a popular figurine in Japanese culture used as a lucky charm. It's used primarily in businesses as a way to bring good luck to the owner and help them rake in that sweet, sweet moolah, baby. Meowth's design does a great job of mirroring its inspiration without being stupid like in some other games. It sports the signature coin, albeit on its head for whatever reason, and its official art even has it with its paw up, just like the Maneki Nico. So it's not a cat, it's a cat statue. Boom. Man, I love being right.
And our pick for the number 1 inanimate object Pokemon that you most likely didn't know about, unless you came from Speqtor's channel, is Gogoat. That's right, Gogoat. So apart from obviously being based on a type of goat, can you work out what inanimate object this Pokemon is also based on? Well, believe it or not, Gogoat, the mount Pokemon, is based on a motorcycle. I did not make that up, it's actually based on a motorcycle. Not maybe based on, not takes inspiration from, it is full on based on a motorcycle. And what do you know, it even has motorcycle-like horns, allowing you to ride it like a motorcycle. Now you might be thinking, well gee, if Gogoat is based on a motorcycle, does that mean Skidoo is based on a bicycle? Yeah, it means exactly that. Skidoo is indeed based on a bike. And like Gogoat, its horns act as handlebars. So if by any chance you or someone you know wanted a Pokemon that was based on a vehicle, you're in luck, because there just so happened to be a couple of Pokemon based on a motorbike and a regular bike. Because this is exactly what a Pokemon based on a bike and a motorbike would look like. And those are 10 Pokemon that you might be surprised to find out are either based on an inanimate object or influenced by one. So, were there any Pokemon that surprised you? For example, did you already know that Gogoat was based on a motorcycle? I know I sure didn't.
Actually, we both did know that because we also did a video over on my channel going over every single inanimate object Pokemon. These 10 may have been the most surprising on the list, but trust me, there are so many more Pokemon you probably wouldn't expect to be based on an inanimate object, as well as the super obvious ones.
Be sure to check out our collab over on Speqtor's channel, and also note, his channel does mainly focus on Let's Play content now, especially Pokemon, but he also likes to do the occasional top 10 every now and then, as well as some other stuff. I also want to take this time to say that videos will hopefully start being a bit more consistent, so please do follow me on Twitter for any updates regarding the channel, or sometimes me in general. Anyway, do please leave a like if you enjoyed this one, subscribe for more Pokemon videos in the future, and until next time, thanks so much for watching.